Well, hello, beautiful people, boys and girls. My name is Tim, and welcome to my favorite channel here on YouTube, Drop Too Much. And okay, we'll go with that. Okay, today we are going to look a little bit at the idea of working with layers. Now, there's only so much I can tell you guys about working with layers, but there is more than meets the eye in any program. And I think that talking about layers here in Procreate is going to cover all your needs for looking at layers, not only in Procreate, but also in Photoshop, in Sketchbook, in Graphic, in Illustrator, in any program you're going to use, because a lot of these programs follow along the same guidelines of how layers work. There's a very important thing that I'm going to call layer attributes. And now I don't know if that's what they call them, but I've called them layer attributes for years. I've coined that term, and it basically goes far beyond your general style of layering. Does that make any sense? No? Okay. I'm going to show you here. We're going to talk about this here. Let's go ahead and make a brand new canvas in Procreate. Procreate is an amazing program on my iPad Pro 12.9. iPad Pro? iPad Pro. Try and say that 10 times fast. Okay, now, once again, there's not going to be a whole lot of drawing here, but there's going to be a lot of explaining here. So bear with me as we hop into the layers panels here. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about Procreate or Sketchbook or anything else, go look at the couple other videos that I've done in this series so far. We've talked a lot about all the different layers, and well, not layers, oh goodness, now I'm really getting ahead of myself. Talking about all the different programs and apps that you can use in not only your computer, but also on your iPad. And more recently, I've been very much strongly on an iPad kick, because my iPad kicks my Wacom Cintiq's butt. And my Wacom Cintiq is 21 inches of huge, beautiful screen, and my iPad put it in the ground, smashed it in the... It was a bad battle. It died. It died. Dogs came running. It was stinky. It wasn't good. It wasn't pretty. I love iPad now. iPad, truly, I have been... iPad, Apple is the dark side. It's the dark side, but I am turning into a Sith Lord now. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself just a little bit. I do that from time to time, especially after sugar sodas. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at today here is layers. Now, I'm going to assume today that you already know the idea of layers, but if you don't, here's a quick synopsis. Layers are very much like a piece of cellophane. If you were a kid in the 80s and 90s, you may remember a time and age where your mom gave you a Sharpie marker. That's the only time your mom ever gave you a Sharpie marker. And she would put cellophane on top of your old television set, the kind when you turn it on and go, you know, and the whole TV would come to life because it's this huge box. It's about this wide, not even side to side, front to back. And what would happen is there was so much static electricity on it, you could take the cellophane, put it over top, pause your TV show, whatever you're watching, and then with a Sharpie marker, draw on the cellophane and draw over top the person on the TV screen. Do you remember that? No? Boy, you're sheltered. You missed out on a young and awesome childhood. Basically, if you turned into a kid like me, I went above and beyond the Call of Duty, and I learned that I could draw in layers of cellophane. Take that first cellophane, pull it down over the TV, give whoever I wanted to, Arthur from PBS, I'd give him a mustache. And then I pull down a second one, and I put it on top of that one, and then I'd give him crazy hair, and then I'd be like, Arthur with hair, Arthur bald. Arthur with hair, Arthur bald. And I could take off the cellophane layer by layer. And that is exactly what this is here. When you make a new layer, you are drawing on a new page of cellophane. And you can turn on and off that layer. You can affect that layer in many amazing and beautiful ways. It's so pretty. So what I'm going to show you today is how we work with layers in a very simple form, but more importantly, the layer attributes that can take your artwork from awesome to... Am I getting my point across? There's no word above awesome, so all you can do is make an expression. Okay, whatever. When it comes to most of these programs or apps, I keep calling them programs, but apps, usually you will have a background color. Now, this is the same thing also in Adobe Photoshop, and in most of these, you can change your background color to whatever you want. And I'm going to choose some stupid background color, and we'll go back in the layers. You can see that I can then turn on and off that background color by hitting that little check mark. Now, things that you do in these layers are going to affect each other, and then you can take them even further with the magic that is layer attributes, my coined term. So, remember, if you say layer attributes at any point in time, you have to say Tim Michael says layer attributes. So when someone says, how do I change this layer? Oh, that's the Tim Michael says layer attribute system. You just have to go and check out his subscribe, and then it all works great. Because it won't work unless you're not subscribed to my YouTube. Never mind. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to choose another color. Let's go orange. Orange. Okay? And I'm just going to draw a line across my... Oh, sorry, that was from a previous tutorial. It looks kind of epic though, doesn't it? And I think it'll actually help with a little bit. Now, what I've done is I've drawn this on the layer above the background. And if I make another layer, and I choose another color, let's go green, and then I draw this way. Dude, I'm tripping here, man. That's kind of, man, that's going to make someone flip out. That's going to get dizzy for someone. Someone from the 70s is on their trip. There we go. There you go. Is this bringing back memories? Bringing back memories of ninjas running through your lawn? Okay, never mind. All right, so now I've done these on 2 different layers. The beautiful things about 2 different layers is I can erase anything I want on that layer and it does not affect the other layer. It's a beautiful, wonderful, glorious thing, and if you don't know it, you need to learn it. Now, it does not stop there, amazing people. If I hit the little N next to, I was tapping the wrong place. If I hit the little N next to the layer, you can see it brings up a series of options. Opacity, normal, multiply, linear burn, color burn, and then a whole bunch of other crap down here that's actually really cool. So if I take this opacity and I drop it, you can see it's going to drop the opacity. It's a very, very useful tool. Do not put down opacities. Just because it's transparent doesn't mean it's powerful. That wasn't a very funny joke. Okay, so what I can then do also now is I can change the attribute of the layer. What does the layer do? Usually when you turn on a new layer, you set it to normal. Normal just is normal. Doesn't mean it's not special. You might be normal, but you're your own person. You're special. And that's the same thing with layer attributes. They tell you in comedy camp not to laugh at your own jokes. I'm sorry. But I can change this layer now and change like it to multiply. And you can see that it's reading the colors behind and it's darkened it, which is really kind of cool. Linear burn, color burn. Each one's going to have a different effect. And so we can jump over to lighten modes, and you can see that it's lightened up the greens and it's lighting up the oranges beneath. We can screen over top, which is a very useful tool if you want to maybe give someone a tattoo or something, and you want to do multiplier screen so it's brighter or darker and it makes it look like it's actually sticking to their skin. You can add, I use this a lot with highlights and rim light and things like that. That's not something I'm going to discuss here. That is going to be an advanced tutorial, which you guys are going to love. You're going to freak out about that when we get to that point. It's going to be a really great tutorial. It'll be on drawtoomuch.com when I have the time to make it, but it will happen one day. Color dodge, which is just a whole other kind of fun dynamic thing. Overlay. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to go through these layers and you're going to see how it affects this stuff, how it affects the top layer, how it affects the bottom layer, what's going to happen when you try something different, subtract, which means it's subtracting the color green from the background, which makes it more purple, burgundy, whatever you want to call it. Hue, saturation, color, luminosity. There is some really, really cool stuff that you can do with this. And it's really in depth. This is something you need to mess with. I use this all the time for my shadows and all the time for my highlights. And it is seriously one of the quickest ways that I get done shading and highlight in my artwork. And if you're going to be a caricature artist, you have to learn how to do this stuff fast. And that's something I'm going to be making in that advanced tutorial. Hint, hint. Let's see what happens now if I leave this on normal. But we go to layer 2, or layer 1, the first layer, the orange layer. And let's see what happens if I mess with some of the functions underneath. Color burn, lighten, screen, add, color dodge, overlay, hard light, soft light. Are we bored yet? Maybe slightly. That's kind of cool. Subtract. Hue, saturation. It's in there somewhere. Do you guys see it? Barely. But that's color. And then luminosity, which hasn't showed. There you go. Now you can see it. So anyway, all of this stuff can affect the layers above and below it. And what you choose to do with that is going to be very much in depth. And mixing that with opacity, how much opacity you let through, what you do with that, can make some really, really cool effects. You'll learn, here's the ones that I need you to study on, and here's the ones that we're going to talk about in our advanced tutorial. Multiply, color burn, color dodge, add, screen, and then I believe that's it. Those are the ones that I use in everything I do, and that will be in our advanced tutorials in the future. But get some artwork done, put in some shadows, try and mess with them using layer attributes and see what happens. You may be really surprised. It's really cool stuff. This goes above and beyond just creating a new layer. This is taking a layer and making it affect other layers while not affecting other layers. You can erase. I mean, this is your way of making a recipe of the world's coolest food and adding ingredients without spoiling the original taste of amazing. So go in there, mess with it, cook up a mess, and then when you're all done, just turn off layers that you don't want, delete layers you don't want, and finally, in the end, you're going to have something amazing. Layers go a long way to really getting you the next step in your art. Because, say, for instance, I really like this as a background, but I want to draw a character over top. So maybe I just want to sketch out a theory of a character. So let me go grab my... technical, my pencil here. Tim's pencil. That would be mine. And I'm going to go ahead and just really quickly just start drawing a face here. And it doesn't have to be anything special because I'm just proving a point here. I got points to prove! So there we go. There's a fun little face. We'll give him a shirt. There we are. Coming down. It doesn't really matter how picky or not picky. Now, when you have this... Say you made a mistake on an ear or something, or the shirt, like for instance, it looks like he's coming down to a taper. If the layer is turned on, I can come in here and I can erase that without erasing my background. Where if all that was drawn on the same layer, if I erased it, I would have erased everything in my background, which would have killed me. So this is really, really necessary stuff. This is very basic stuff for artists that are trying to get into the world of drawing. This is also a really important tool that you will use every day once you learn it. Because, say, I've gotten this sketch, and the sketch is looking really, really reasonable. Okay, we'll give him like a ball cap or something. Okay, and obviously it's getting messier and messier and messier, and it's not really, thumbs up. Okay, I'll draw a thumb here with a finger, and some kind of weird hand thing, and whatever. And so you get all this done, but it looks terrible. Well, now you can make a new layer on top. You can take the old layer and you can set it to multiply, which I do a lot, or do normal and then fade it. And then if you do multiply, it links into the back layers a little bit, which is always kind of cool. And then here, I can start inking this. And so I can grab my Tim's ink pen and go in here and actually start inking things out. Okay. So if I feel like I'm doing good with what I've created, and whoops, okay, boop, boop. Now I can actually start giving details to the character. I can start building up his structure of what he actually looks like, or whatever. And then when I'm all said and done with whatever I've created, then I can simply turn off the background layer, and all I have left is my ink layer. And then I can make layers behind this ink layer, and I can color it without going over my inks, which is amazing. So this is very, 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 very basic stuff. I mean, this is important structuring stuff that will really help you learn to build your artwork, not only more efficiently, but quickly. Because if you're like me, doing this all day long, becomes quite miserable. And I love drawing, but I don't love drawing when it's going to take me 20 hours to do something that should be fairly simple, you know? I like to feel like I'm actually getting somewhere with my artwork throughout the day. And the best way to do that is to learn the best tips and tricks, get things done. Because, I mean, this is what I do for a living. This is partially what I do for a living. And I draw every day, all day. And I'm very, very focused on this stuff. And if I can't find a way to make this fun for me, and if I can't find a way to, you know, get through the end of the day and be ready for another day of drawing the following day, I'm in trouble. I'm in big trouble. So it's very, very important to build your structures and learn how to do things quickly. Then if I just turn off this background layer now, beep, there you go. All that's left is my ink layer, and if I mess up on it, I can erase it. I can do whatever I want. I can turn off my sketch layer or maybe turn it back on because I feel maybe I messed up on something or whatever. I can make changes because I have layers. And then from those layers, then we can do layer attributes and mess with things and make things different and make glows happen. And it's just, the world is your oyster when it comes to layer attributes. You just got to learn how to use them. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Remember, I have a Patreon account, and there aren't many rewards on there, but truth be told, every dollar that you guys support me and every time I make a new video here on YouTube goes to help pay some very serious bills. I've been trying to make this more of a full-time job, and it's very, very, very difficult and stressful. And so your help on Patreon, oh, you have no idea how much it helps me. So right now we're living in my in-laws' house and we're trying to find a house of our own, and that means that Tim's got to get a real job or Tim's got to make a lot more money here really quick. So I really appreciate all of you guys who are patrons and who are patrons and who are supporting me, and I'm looking for extra rewards. If you guys have theories on rewards, let me know, and we'll look into those things because honestly I could use your help as much as possible. You guys are amazing and beautiful people. I hope that you've enjoyed this very basic tutorial. This is very basic, but it lets you get the hang of working in Procreate and gives you that next step if you're a beginner in learning how to draw digitally and how to make your artwork something really, really awesome. God bless you guys. I'll see you next time. You're amazing, beautiful people. Keep being brave. Step out of your comfort zone. I'll see you next time. Bye.